Right, in this masterclass, again on bowling skills, we're talking about the bowling lengths, the length that you bowl. Now, Mitch was fearsome at several lengths. Just Mitch, what lengths did you bowl? What was your major stock ball? And tell us about that.
Yeah, I guess there was three major lengths. It was your Yorker, your length ball, top of off, and your short ball, your bouncer. So Brett Lee used to talk about those lengths, was very good at it. Glenn McGrath used to talk about top of off, occasional bumper, and he was exceptional at that. So yeah, for me, I guess my stock delivery was trying to bang it in around that top of off mark. And I guess the way I practiced that was in the nets, just repetition, keep bowling in the nets. Sometimes we'd have a target at the top of the stumps, so just around that top of off. Sometimes we'd have a target or something along the wicket to aim at. But I was more of a field bowler, so for me it was just bowling more and getting the feel of what my stock delivery, my good length was. But also lengths changed in different conditions, so that was the one tough thing I guess about the game was, and the real challenging thing and something I really enjoyed was you'd play at Perth and it was bouncier than say playing at Sydney, so you had to adjust really quickly, and at the start of your innings you'd have to know that at Perth you've got to probably bowl it at 4 metres. That was going to hit the top of off, not your 5 or 6 metres, which is more likely Sydney. So you had to really adjust really quickly, and those things really did change around the world. So that was the challenge that us bowlers had, but it was something that you would get used to pretty quickly because you'd be over there before the tour had started and you're practicing that in the nets.
Yeah, this is great. So he's answered a million questions there in one. So he's taken away all my questions, which is great. But as he said about McGrath, and in team meetings, it had come to the bowlers, what are we going to do? Top of off, hit the top of off, occasional Yorker, occasional bouncer. And they said it's that simple. And Mitch said there, adjusting your lengths depending on wickets. So that was something with young bowlers that I always have the conversation with is top of off, and they, not always, but some wickets are different than others. So that's really good. Now, and it also practice. So with your Yorkers and bouncers, did they just happen or did you practice them?
Well, I'm not a Yorker specialist, and that's something that I always worked on through my career. That was one ball that I tried to master, and I don't think I'd ever mastered it, but there was times when it came out really well. I remember playing the IPL a few years ago with Latish Malinga, and he used to practice in the middle with a boot. Would stick a boot there, a couple of boots, as it was like a batsman. So he would run in and bowl and hit the boot, 9 times out of 10. So I started practicing that way and sort of talking to him about it. So that was another thing, talking to other players about how they do things, because he was a specialist at it. So I was trying to learn, and I learnt a lot from him. So it was just about practice, do that in the nets, whether it's a cone or if I was looking at the base of the stumps or the top of the stumps, that would change my length as well. So everyone's going to be different. Some guys are field bowlers, some guys like to look at the wicket or look at something on the wicket. I tried all those things, but I was definitely a field bowler, and the more I practiced, the more comfortable I felt that I could do it in a game.
So he's talking about practicing. So, and your bouncers, your lethal bouncer, that was always sort of right on the mark. Did you practice them in the nets? Would anyone face you in the nets?
I definitely practiced it, yeah. That was the thing, you have to practice it, and the guys are going to face it in a game. I think the only issue was that we bowled probably about half a metre over the line at times, so, and Brett Lee was probably a little bit further, so we were pretty quick in the nets, but I definitely practiced it, and I did it as in game situation. I'd always go in thinking it was a game, and how I was going to set the guys up in the nets. If I was coming up against South Africa and I was bowling to Davey Warner in the nets, I would think about it was Graham Smith. So I'd bowl a lot fuller and probably outside off stump. But my bouncer was definitely something I worked on, and I generally aimed around that rib cage to sort of the top of the badge.
Yeah, so really good insights into practicing and performance. A little story on McGrath. You brought up, I was catching him one day just at training, and I was getting a bit bored, so I put the keys down. I said, see if you can hit them. And second ball, he's hit the keys, which were on a good length. So that's how good these blokes are. Thanks, Mitch. That was awesome.
No worries.
Yay!